The haunting of room 103. Hospitals are often places of healing, but sometimes they can become a sanctuary for the supernatural. The story of room 103 at St. Mary's Hospital is one such tale, a story that sends shivers down the spine of anyone who dares to hear it. St. Mary's was an old hospital, its corridors long and winding, with walls that seemed to whisper the secrets of countless lives that had passed through. The air carried the scent of antiseptic, but beneath it was a lingering, musty smell that spoke of decades of use. Room 103 was tucked away at the end of a dimly lit hallway, a room that seemed to absorb more than its share of shadows. The legend of room 103 began many years ago. It was said that a young nurse, Claire, once worked at St. Mary's. She was diligent and kind, loved by patients and staff alike. But Claire carried a deep sadness within her, a sadness that no one could penetrate. One night during a particularly stormy evening, Claire was found dead in room 103. The official report claimed it was suicide, but whispers among the staff suggested something more sinister. After Claire's death, strange occurrences began to plague room 103. Patients reported seeing a shadowy figure standing at the foot of their beds, whispering their names. Others claimed they felt a cold, bony hand gripping their wrists in the dead of night. The room's lights would flicker erratically, and the temperature would drop suddenly without explanation. The hospital administration dismissed these stories as mere hallucinations or the side effects of medication. Yet the number of incidents kept growing. One patient, Mrs. Thompson, an elderly woman with a heart condition, was found dead in her bed one morning, her face frozen in a mask of terror. The night before her death, she had confided in a nurse that she had seen Claire standing by the window, smiling eerily. Soon, room 103 earned a reputation as a cursed room. Staff began to refuse assignments that required them to enter it, and patients would beg not to be placed there. But the hospital was always full, and there was no choice but to continue using the room. A young doctor named Dr. Emily Carter, fresh out of medical school and eager to prove herself, decided to take on the challenge of room 103. Skeptical of the supernatural, she believed that the stories were nothing more than the product of fear and imagination. Determined to put an end to the rumors, she volunteered to stay overnight in the room. Armed with a notebook, a camera, and her medical expertise, Dr. Carter settled into room 103 as the night fell. The room was eerily quiet, the only sound being the occasional beep from the medical equipment. Hours passed without incident, and Dr. Carter began to relax, even chuckling to herself at the absurdity of the tales. Around midnight, the atmosphere in the room began to change. The temperature plummeted, and an unnatural stillness filled the air. Dr. Carter felt an overwhelming sense of dread, but brushed it off as her mind playing tricks on her. She continued her notes when she noticed the lights flickering. A sudden chill ran down her spine as the shadows in the corners of the room seemed to grow darker and more defined. Then she heard it, a soft, almost imperceptible whisper. It called her name, Emily. The voice was cold, yet strangely familiar. She looked around, her heart pounding, but there was no one there. Trying to remain rational, she told herself it was just the wind. But the whispers grew louder, more insistent. "Emily, help me," the voice pleaded. Dr. Carter's hands trembled as she clutched her notebook. She turned on her camera, hoping to capture any evidence of what she was experiencing. Suddenly, the figure of a young woman appeared at the foot of the bed. Her features were pale, her eyes hollow, and her presence filled the room with an icy chill. It was Claire. Dr. Carter tried to speak, but no words came out. Claire's ghostly figure stared at her, a sorrowful expression on her face. "Why are you here?" Dr. Carter finally managed to whisper. Claire didn't answer. Instead, she pointed to the wall opposite the bed. Dr. Carter's eyes followed the ghostly hand and saw a faint outline of what appeared to be a hidden door. Gathering her courage, she approached the wall and pushed against it. The door creaked open, revealing a small, dark room filled with old medical equipment and dusty files. Among the files, Dr. Carter found Claire's personal records and a journal. Flipping through the pages, she uncovered a horrifying truth. Claire had discovered a series of unethical experiments being conducted on patients in room 103. She had threatened to expose the truth, but someone had silenced her forever. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Dr. Carter knew she had to bring this to light. But as she turned to leave, Claire's spirit appeared once more. This time she was smiling, her form slowly fading into the ether. The room warmed up and the oppressive atmosphere lifted. Dr. Carter reported her findings to the hospital authorities, who were forced to acknowledge the dark past of room 103. The room was sealed off and an investigation was launched. Claire's story became a catalyst for change, ensuring that no more lives would be lost to the sinister secrets of St. Mary's Hospital. Though the room remains closed, those who pass by still claim to hear whispers, as if Claire is still watching over, ensuring that the truth is never forgotten. The legend of room 103 lives on, a chilling reminder of the past that lingers within the walls of St. Mary's.